So today I'm installing a nitrous kit to my GSX-S1000. You're probably asking why. So I want to make the bike faster. I actually have some experience using nitrous on cars before, but never on a bike. So this is something that I've been wanting to do for a while. And although this is not my 100% dedicated drag bike, I'm potentially going that direction and potentially making this my dedicated bike. Like I mentioned before, why Richard? Why are you trying to make this your drag bike? There's potentially a lot of like better bikes you can use for that. I get it. This is the bike that I have, and I'm actually having a lot of fun with this bike. I can potentially, like I mentioned before, get a Hayabusa, get a GSX-S or R1000, or maybe get a BMW or a lot of those bikes. So this is the bike I have, and I'm actually having a lot of fun with it. So without further ado, I'm just gonna show you what I bought. And what I bought is pretty much this kit. So I got it from Dynotune, which is, you can see here, no sponsors. I just bought, after doing some research, I thought this was the best choice for me, which came pretty complete, and I'm pretty happy with price as well as everything that came with the kit. So kit comes with you can choose larger bottles. I chose to use this one, which is going to be mounted on the outside. I'll show you that in a second. So this is 12 ounces. This is the bracket that goes in the bike, which I show how we are going to be installing it later. Comes with your standard line. You have, this is your decal for the bottle, the warning decal for the bottle, which I'm not sure if I will be using it or not. Then this is your solenoid for the nitrous. These are your fittings. You have your cable, electrical cable. You have your plate to install your solenoids. Then you have your electrical connectors. You have the actual cap that goes on the bottle, where we're going to be controlling whether or not you have your bottle open or not. This is the one you're going to be using when you are taking your bottle to get refilled at the refill station, nitro station. Zip ties, which I think I mentioned. And then last but not least, you have your perch, which, in case you have no idea what the perch is, this additional solenoid, button, line, and this entire kit is going to allow me to safely ensure when I'm about to do a pass, when I'm going to be using the nitrous on the bike, there's only nitrous and no mixture or air and nitrous, like air pockets in the line. So the amount of nitrous you're going to be using can be potentially like pretty drastic changes, I guess, on the bike. So you want to make sure that when you are using the nitrous, you're only getting nitrous, and you're not going to be getting some like stutter, or you're expecting nitrous but only air is in the lines, and then it's not consistent how the nitrous is going to be applied or used on the bike. So that was just a safety for me, and not only just for show, just purging nitrous to the air. That was not my intention. So I just wanted to make sure that I can just clean the line, and you can get the amount of pressure on the lines before you're using the nitrous. So I'll be starting to install the nitrous today. So let's just get on. I have this mountain bracket, which you can just use in like different orientations. When you buy the kit, I think you can get it in like some different colors. In my case, most of the bike is black, so I thought it was I was gonna like it like this, and I think I'm pretty happy with the option I made. So pretty much you'll see a bunch of like holes. So all of these holes this is just to give you opportunities of like mount the bikes. Mount the nitrous bottle on the bikes for more like bikes with additional support, more support, such as Hayabusas or CX-1000s or whatever. You can actually get mounting brackets that are designed for the bike, which pretty much you do is just to use, like in my case, I don't have my rear pegs installed, so in this case I can just use this one. So what I'll do is, I think I'm just gonna take the bolt from the rear peg, the one farthest to the last portion of the bike, remove it, and maybe just mount the bracket this direction, and then I'm just gonna use this hole to install it if the bolt is long enough. So let's just give it a try. This is just to get motivation. Potentially installing the bottle is the last thing you want to do, but in my case, in order to get motivated, it will make a lot of sense just to see the bottle, and then I'll start doing the other more boring stuff, which is removing the tank, all the seats, removing the negative and the battery and everything else. It shows, I don't know, maybe about a quarter. I'm not sure that's enough, because I don't know if the with this in the middle, this might give me enough space just to get enough like threads on the hole. So let's just see how it goes. See if it works. So I don't think I'm going to get a lot of like threads in, but decent amount. Let's see how it goes. Let's see if the bottle fits. Let's see if the bottle fits in here. I like it. Let's see. Stand back and see how. So let me show you. I mean, it's not bad. I would love for it to be. Oh yeah, I can actually push it a little bit to the inside, and let me see. Let me show you on the bottom. So this is where the bracket goes, and I definitely have, you know, space that I can just make it tighter, and I can always get longer, put washers if I need to, so I can like just, you know, improve the position of it. I think I'm actually pretty happy with that. Let me take a step back and see how it looks. I mean, it's funny how like you have to really look and see that you have a nitrous line or a nitrous bottle on the bike. Like you can tell. That's awesome. Yeah, I like it. So I'm gonna leave it there just for how do you call it, for inspiration, I guess, or motivation. So now I'm just gonna move to the more boring stuff, which is removing the tank, removing the seats, negative out, and yeah, and start working on the airbox. Yeah. People don't like to, you know, take their tanks off because they feel it's complicated. In a matter, actually it's not. I used a piece of like wood between like the handlebar and the tank just to keep it propped up. And what I was trying to do is, this is the only cable who is connecting the tank to the harness on the bike. So what you want to do is just to unhook this one, and then this line here is the one, it's the line that goes like this. And the only thing you have to do in terms of like the GSX-S1000 is that, let me try to get closer, is that you have to pull this bottom, like this goes up and down, and this is how this line gets locked in place by this. There's always going to be a little bit of a spillage of gas, so you can, you know, put a rack or whatever underneath just to catch that. There was just a tiny bit. And then in terms of being able to take or remove the tank, there is this bolt which comes with a nut and it goes straight through here. At this point it's not aligned because I already took it out. So this bolt goes through here inside of this leveling thingy and then comes all the way out here, and this is where the nut goes. So now the tank is ready to come off. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put this camera back and I'll put it in here, and I'm just gonna remove the tank right now, and that way we can get access to the airbox. Alright, so now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take this off, which is this strap that it's holding down the ECU. ECU now can get, move all the way like this. It's not gonna hurt. Just leave it like that hanging. Its radiator is not hot or anything, so I'm just gonna go ahead and take a Phillips screwdriver, and I'm gonna go ahead and take the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I think 10 Phillips screws, and what we want to do is just to remove them all. And by removing this is gonna give us access to the air filter and to the airbox, because we are going to be drilling holes in the airbox to install the nozzles, which are two. Just like that, it comes off. Okay, put this away. Now we get access to the K&N, which is not looking too bad. I replaced it or cleaned it or put it on, installed it, I don't know, maybe not too long ago. So very important is what you want to take a look at, in case you haven't seen inside your airbox. This is how the K&N looks like. There's different filters you can use, but this is the one I have right now. Very important to know is that when you open your airbox for the first time, if you do it at some point, there's a restrictor there's a plate that goes in here that pretty much just like muffle down the sound of the airbox when you are wide open throttle. In my case, it's been proven to help with air intake and increasing the airflow, which is why I removed it, in addition to installing this air filter. So long story short, now this is where this is the sensor that we're looking for. So one of the nozzles, you want to look to the air filter, or I'm sorry, the air sensor. The important thing, or the reason why you want to do that, is because if you do that, you're going to fool the computer to believe that it's actually colder than the air temperature outside, or the ambient temperature. And by doing that, by fooling the computer is actually going to increase the amount of fuel it's going to be adding to the engine to compensate for the colder air that's getting actually added by the combination of adding the nitrous and the whole reaction that's going to take place once the nitrous is inside of the airbox. So now what I'm going to do is just to get the top of the airbox, just to mark where I'm going to install the nozzles. And something that's very important is that you don't want nozzles going straight to your runners, for each of your, if you're your pistons or your valve. And And then that's one thing. So you want them, you know, spread out evenly so they can suck in as much air as possible. So one of them, I'm guessing I'm just gonna install it in here so it just looks this way. And then the other one, I'm just gonna install it maybe closer to here, but not necessarily in here, because we don't want piston number 2 or 3, depending on where you're coming from. I don't remember which one is it. Like for example, using this as an example, is the one getting all the charge. You want them all getting the charge. So getting a cloud of nitrous, you know, building up inside of the airbox. One thing that's in the instructions, which I found, you know, pretty useful, is that there is about 900 pounds of pressure coming out of the bottle injected by the solenoid, which that means that you don't have to worry so much about being able to get a lot of like pressure, and making sure that there's going to be enough nitrous getting injected to or sucked in by, you know, each of your runners. So which is why you don't have to necessarily just put one like in a runner, like in a car or anything like that. You should be okay by just creating a cloud inside of your airbox. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and just in here, perfect. So I'm just gonna come here. The fact that we removed the airbox gives me a better outlook or a better idea of where do I want my nitrous nozzles installed. So I'm going to get the nozzles now and see if I can start marking where do I want them to be. The important thing is that you want to know how much they protrude or how much they get exposed whenever you put them in between the nut and the nozzle on the inside, to make sure that you have enough space to come out of this area, as well as make sure that when I install the tank is not going to be rubbing against the nozzle. So that's the one thing I'm going to do now. All right, so this is where I'm at right now. Finally, I was able to find the place I was going to put the 2 foggers in the airbox. So as I mentioned before, what you want to do is have one at least just getting as much as possible, or if not directly stream of nitrous on the temp sensor, which is this one right here. So this is not directly, but like the fitting like on top of the airbox, if I were to put the cover in here, it was very tight. And on the sides, like going straight in here, it was super tight too when the actual tank was coming down. So best choice for me was actually to have it in here, and I replicated pretty much the same on this side. So as of right now, this is like super tight. So this is where the lines are gonna go. There's gonna be a test a T right here coming from these two and then going to the back. So now what I want to show is I've been mocking, I apologize for all this mess, but I've been mocking up the how the system is gonna go. So what's gonna happen is this line, it's coming from like 2 lines are coming from the intake from each of the foggers, which is gonna be like this. The lines are gonna come in here, and then in here this line is gonna go to this, which is the out of the main solenoid, and then the solenoid goes to the T, and then this T goes to the solenoid that's going back to the purge, which ends up in this, which this is where the nitrous is gonna come out when I'm purging the line. And then last thing is connecting this braided line right here to the T, which this is gonna feed the T that's gonna be feeding, of course, the nitrous going to the engine plus the nitrous going to the purge. So potentially some of these feedings, and I'm not sure, maybe I don't know which one. I think one is gonna change potentially, and then this is the bottle. And I think there's one more thing that I have to do here, because I probably want to actually just come in here and set up how do I want the line coming out. So in the future, what I'm going to be doing is I'll be using this connector when I'm taking my bottle to get refilled, and then I can remove that connector and then just go ahead and straight add the bottle to this nozzle in here, and this way I can manage my bottle from here. So I can open the bottle from the same adapter, and I don't have to you know, mess with anything else. So that's why you have like 2 different ones. So I have to disassemble this so I can put the NPT connector in here, which is gonna be the one the line was gonna go to, and of course just connect it to the bottle. So now I just need to finish this, put the T, run the line to the back. The solenoid and everything is gonna be leaving in the tank of the motorcycle for now. Well, actually not for now, forever. And then I'll be running the braided lines inside, and then just to the bottle, and then all the lines, you know, going through here. So that's what I'm gonna be working on. So I'm gonna stop the video here. I have to go through and then get this connector, which is the one is gonna be enabling the horn to turn into my activation button for the nitrous. And then I have to run the electrical to connect it to the solenoid so I can use my perch button, which is gonna be based on this one, which I'm still not sure where I'm going to be installing this one. Potentially, I don't know, maybe somewhere closer to my handlebar or whatever, or maybe I can just put it somewhere else, so it doesn't matter. This is not something that I'm gonna be using all the time and you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer any questions in terms of, you know, adding, removing, installing, the whole process. I'll be more than happy. And this should be pretty transferable to any other bike. So not any bike is going to be the same, but the system is pretty universal. So I mean, it's pretty much the same. Like I mentioned before, Hayabusas, CX-14, those type of bikes, they already have, like, there's so much support for those bikes that you already have systems that are already, someone has already done the math for you, and they'll tell you, oh, just go ahead and here and tap these two buttons here. This is the best place to put them. But in my case, I had to do my whole, you know, test fitting and all that things. But it's all good. I mean, it's an experience anyway. I'm learning, so I'm pretty excited about this. So let's see how it goes.